all my friends, we're all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world that knows we're leading. We feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it, and we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system, we're standing at a distance, so we keep on waiting on the world to change. If we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, would have never missed a Christmas, no ribbons on the door. When you trust your television, what you get is what you got. It's when the only information, oh, they can bend it all they want. That's why we're waiting on the world to change. That's why we're waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know that the fight ain't fair. So we keep on waiting on the world to change. Hey, hey. That's why we're waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system, we're standing at a distance, so we keep on waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change, waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
Oh, James, thank you so much for kicking off our morning with us by not only the beautiful music, and I love the way you play your guitar and how much you're into it as you're playing. It's fantastic. Thank you. But the lyrics to that song certainly set the platform for us for the time that we have together today. So thank you. I know there's other songs that you have for us throughout the service that will continue us on this journey of awakening our minds and hearts and souls in a new way today. So thank you. I'll see you in a bit.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So hello, everyone, and good morning. As I said before, I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I am the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and we come together today on January 10th in the year 2021. What a week it's been. It's my goal and my intention today to put together a service for us that will give us the opportunity to awaken within us a greater understanding just of the power that exists within us, to let go a little bit of the feelings of the energy of the week. It seems like each and every day is a lot for us to take in, and then to put that in the connection in the collective of a week or a month or a year sometimes can be a bit overwhelming. So today it's my goal and my intention to look at the role that we play in the co-creation of the universe while still being able to process the events and the effects of the world, and to use our mind and our heart and our soul in a way to ride the ride of co-creation in a new way. As a community that's come together for well over 30 years now, we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, and all abilities, for we stand with you, for you're safe here. One of the things that we look at in this metaphysical teaching known as the science of mind is that we're all one. That even when there are times when behaviors of individuals seem to contradict that, as if it's almost incomprehensible to think that we are all of the same, expressing the same, It's important to remember that that sameness that we have is transcendent of behavior. It's transcendent of our choices. It is transcendent of how we each use the power. And so today, my goal, as I've stated before, is to find some baseline of inspiration for us to just create a new perspective on life and our role in life and what has transpired and how we can move forward day by day, thought by thought, action by action, reaction by reaction, and interaction by interaction, not only with all of humanity, with all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, and all abilities, but to do that as an awakened human being. And so, for us to do that, we need to, and I invite us all to honor, just as our beloved founding minister used to say each and every Sunday morning, and I invite you to say it in the privacy of your own home, even if it's a stretch to know it at this moment, is that we welcome one and we welcome all. As a community, we come together, as I said, and have for over 30 years to teach a metaphysical teaching known as the science of mind. It's one aspect of a New Thought teaching that could be distilled down into the context, if you will, of there's only one activity ever taking place in life. That's the activity of the divine that you and I and all sentient beings are imbued with. But we also have the ability to process this power through our mind, because it is all mind. And so we get to experience it to the degree that we not only become conscious of it and its qualities, which are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, but that we can magnify those when we become awakened to the power that exists within us, and to honor all of humanity as we're on this journey of practicing the oneness of life, practicing our ability to impact change in the world, and practicing the multiple facets of mind that we have, of being able to process emotions, to live in shock, while at the same time understand that ones need to be held accountable for their behaviors, while at the same time also know that healing is deeply required. And so that all of that unfolds at a divine level, but it can only unfold at a magnificent level when we choose to practice what we preach here at the teachings of known as the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. Our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so today, my objective is to support all of us on this journey of finding our own personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And for us to do that for ourselves and for others without judgment, but to do it from a perspective of honoring the namaste. The divine in me honors and acknowledges the divine within you. And to know that we're all on this journey of finding this evolutionary process of an awakened mind, and that we celebrate that for all individuals. And so as we move forward, we do so with our morning ritual that we do each and every Sunday morning. It's called Calling in the Light. And I believe this morning it is called for in a greater way than ever before. And so I invite each of us to take a moment and just close our eyes. Whether you're joining us through Zoom or Facebook or later, wherever you are, as long as it's in a safe environment, meaning not driving a car, close your eyes and begin to visualize the flickering flame of the candle. And to let that candle represent the light of the divine. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence that we call spirit. The purpose of our ritual this morning is to draw into our gathering a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. The prayer that I have for us today is a very simple one. And it is this. I'm sorry, my computer's acting up. It is this. Love is the key that opens the heart. Hope is the dream that awakens the soul. Peace is the light that guides the way. And faith is the certainty that sees us through. As it shows us on the screen that we are one family, all of humanity. It's peace that I invite us to focus on today. Remembering that peace is the light that guides the way. And so remembering the acronym for peace, purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. I speak for all of us as we align ourselves with that evolutionary process of the consciousness awakening and remembering who we are as divine beings. Purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. And so the next step of our ritual in awakening ourselves to this purposeful energy is doing our part by singing the song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth, and Let It Begin with Me." James will take us on that journey. The lyrics are on the screen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so I affirm for each one of us right here and right now that peace has begun within us. The intention for peace to exist on earth. And so today is the day, now is the moment that we open our mind to choose to walk in perfect harmony with our brothers and sisters on this planet. And it can be simply a metaphorical walking for the purpose of activating conscious evolution with our energy of light and love, peace and power, beauty and joy and wisdom. And so we release any anger or emotion or angst in this moment. opening ourselves up for a greater sense of empowerment personally as we become more and more awakened to our spiritual nature. Yes, we affirm there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me, the individualized expression of the only thing there is. We trust the power of the universe, and let it be as we say together. Amen. And so it is. Thank you, James. Most beautiful. Most beautiful. What a joy it is to have each and every one of you here with us today. I just want to remind you what a pleasure, once again, and a privilege and an honor it is to have you come to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles online to allow yourself to be in the energy field of healing, of awakening, of revelation, and of self-identification. And so once again, we welcome one and welcome all and celebrate you wherever you are on your journey of finding your personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. James has a song for us that he's going to sing now that will continue us on this journey of going deeper while evolving to a higher framework of mind. What's the title of the song, James?
This one's called Fire and Rain by James Taylor. And it's just such a beautiful song for me. The lyrics talk about going through something really, really hard, actually losing somebody, but finding comfort in talking with your friends and finding community.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. Oh, but I always thought that I'd see you again. Once you look down upon me, Jesus, you gotta help me take a step. You just gotta see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand, and I won't make it any other way. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. No. Seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. And walking my mind to an easy time, my back turns towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground. And I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. Seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you one more time again. time again, one more time again.
Beautiful and compelling and touching and inspiring and even entertaining, but that wasn't really what it was about. It was about your sharing your soul with
Thank
the
you.
lyrics of James Taylor in your own inimitable, fabulous way. So thank you so much for that. Also, stunningly beautiful guitar, by the way, there, James.
Thank you. It's my favorite
Uh,
instrument I've ever owned. Her name is Esperanza,
her name is Esperanza.
which means hope.
Well, it's definitely. Well, thank you for sharing it with us.
Anytime.
Thank you. Yeah. Big clap and applause to you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here we are, everyone, on January 10th, on a Sunday after a crazy, crazy, wild week in the evolution of humanity in the United States of America. And I've been a little bit torn as to what to present this morning. And the conclusion, as you will see, is to stay the course of where we are in the unfolding of presenting the four chapters, the foundational chapters of the book, The Science of Mind. And so this morning, I'm going to continue doing that and incorporating some perspectives relative to what has unfolded this week with the intention of us grounding ourselves from the events and the effects. And if we want to talk about this more, we can do so at the end of the service when we come together as a community and turn our cameras on. But this morning, I want to present to the best of my ability information and inspiration that helps guide us into a greater mindset, a greater consciousness of how to not only move forward, but to live in the moment and also process what has transpired. And so I've put together some slides for us this morning because that is a way for me in this very modern world to express myself on a way to tie in both visually and energetically the message that I have to share for us for that purpose of inspiration and information. So here we go. And so, once again, as a community known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, we're here to support individuals finding their personal self empowerment through a spiritual awakening. The theme for our month is tuning into new potentials. It's a spiritual evolution, and certainly we have experienced a spiritual evolution this week by witnessing what appeared to be a revolution. And so the journey that we're on of this evolution, which seems to have had a revolution taking place for us individually as we stay the course of our awakening, is to plug in to the very things that we know. There's been a lot of talk in the online community through metaphysical ministers of taking the super, super high road and doing what's called a spiritual bypass by not paying attention to the effects of what's transpiring in the world. And I've chosen not to do that, but to integrate those effects into knowing and grounding ourselves in our spiritual evolution. While my beloved mentor, Dr. Maureen Hoyt, says that we live in a world of and. So, as beings of this cosmic power that exists within us, we can be angry and we can be hurt and we can be awakened and we can have compassion and we can want there to be accountability and we can step into healing, and this can all change moment by moment by moment, and we can feel lost, and we also know what to do. It all can transpire as we connect to the first chapter titled The Thing Itself, that power, that source, the wisdom that exists within us, the infallible, infinite power that we call source, the higher power, the divine, or God itself. Today we move to the second chapter, which is titled The Way It Works. And I love this image on the screen because it shows the popping open of a fortune cookie as the fortune pops out, reminding us that we are here to find inspiration by using the thing itself, but understanding that No one in the outer world can predict for us or be cause to the experience that we have of reflecting in form the evolution of our own mind, because it's a personal, individualized journey. And so today I want us to take a look at the way the thing itself works, and how we can use that to be more conscious and conscientious on this awakening to our spiritual magnificence, our spiritual awakening, thus resulting in finding greater personal self-empowerment. In the book, The Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes writes about it in this way. The thing itself, the higher power, source, the divinity, God within us, works for us by working through us and is us always. It cannot work for us in any other way. I know that many of you have heard this over the years, but I invite you to take that in anew right now. The thing works for us by working through us and is us always. See the word and? We're living in that world of and. For it cannot work for us in any other way. This power, this energy, this infinite source, spreads itself over the whole universe and shouts at us from every angle. But it can become power to us only when we recognize it as power, meaning that we can only use it advantageously for our conscious spiritual evolution when we recognize that it's there, and we recognize it as the power that resides within us, that is the very thing that lies in smiling repose, if you will, waiting for us to call upon it for our own awakening. Well, how do we do this? Well, very simply, we do this by understanding that our thought sets the fulfillment of its desire in motion in mind. And mind, our mind, the mind, sees the thing as already done. In other words, we must declare and claim the very thing that we desire to experience in life as already done. And we do that through our thinking. Another way to look at that is this: that few people, Ernest Holmes tells us, we may be one of those, realize that the law of thought is the great reality, that thoughts produce things. When we come to understand this power of thought, we will carefully watch our thinking to see that no thought enters that we do not want made into a thing. Let us fill the atmosphere of our homes and places of business with streams of positive thought. And there's two things I want to look at here today, as I'm not a big fan of the term positive thought. Let's then reframe that of we fill the atmosphere of life itself with streams of affirmation, affirming the thing itself. Now, as Ernest tells us here, that few people realize that the law of thought is the great reality, that thoughts produce things, we witnessed that this week. That the unfolding of the events that took place at the Capitol this week were certainly the outcome, the outcropping, if you will, of thoughts. And I've seen people post on social media this week saying that if you look at these gentlemen who, and I use that term quite loosely, it just rolled off my tongue unintentionally, who is in the house, the big White House, many have said he is the ultimate use of the principle of thought. And I would say not so much. He does understand that his words have power, unfortunately uses them in a way that doesn't propagate good or propagate evolution. And so, yes, one can use the principles of life in a way that are destructive, but we also can use them constructive. And it's important for us to remember, as Dr. Martin Luther King tells us, is that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that, for hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And so you and I have the opportunity today to step into using our light in a way to invoke healing while at the same time hold others accountable. It's important to understand how to use it, the thing itself, and the way it works. Ernest goes on to say in the book, The Science of Mind, we cannot recognize that it is while we're believing that it is not. Hence, it is written that they entered not because of unbelief. We may enter in because of our belief, but we cannot enter while there is unbelief. In other words, we must choose right now to believe that there is power for good in the universe, and that it's this power, this light is there for us to use, and it is unfailing by nature. It's important for us to tend to our thinking and our beliefs even more so today. Emerson says, "There's no great and no small to the soul that maketh all." Ernest goes on to tell us that our beliefs set the limit to our demonstration of a principle, which of itself is without limit. We just sang the song that let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. In all the years that I did work with the teens at the teen camp, they sang that song, we sang that song in an affirmative manner. Each and every time it was sung as, yes, there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. It's important for you and I today to choose to believe that that indeed is unfolding, no matter of the darkness that took place this week. It's important for us to remember that it, the thing itself, is ready to fill everything because it is infinite. It's never a question of its willingness of ability. It's entirely a question of our own receptivity. Healing is revealing how we use our mind. Well, Ernest says it this way. Well, what is healing? Healing is revealing. Well, what is it revealing? An idea. What ideas exist in your mind right now? Are they ones that are propagating good? I know personally I've had many thoughts this week, maybe even some actions, and certainly posts on social media that were ideas that were not reflective of what I know deep within me that is a spiritual truth. Ernest says healing is a revealing in an idea that is already perfect. And so the biggest idea that we may be able to hold on to right now that is already perfect is indeed that this power, it is infinite. And as we choose to align ourselves with its infinite nature, then the way it works is to bring back into our field of experience a reflection of the very idea that we hold. For us to do that, we must understand that old ways of thinking, actions, reactions, interactions with life itself won't open new doors. And I'm sure that you, much like me, desire for new doors to be opened today. New doors meaning, as a metaphor, new ways of thinking, new ways of expressing, new ways of experience, new experiences to unfold. Well, how does that happen? Here's the way it happens. In our New Thought teachings, which we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, primarily the science of mind, we learn that external conditions are the effects of the working of our minds. As within, so without. Goes on to write that as we move, and this is written by Dr. Jim Lockard, as we move beyond a basic understanding of this concept, we see that this is not really a linear process. I don't get a cold because I was thinking about getting a cold. I get a cold because my thought patterns were caused to a weakening of my immune system, and the cold virus penetrated those weakened defenses. My thought patterns were likely about something completely different, but the accompanying anxiety or depression had its effect on my physical body. Think about that in a new way. The thought patterns that we have individually that then cause anxiety or depression or unease, how that's showing up not just in the body of our own physicality, but we've witnessed this week and really in the last 4 years, how that manifests itself in the body of humanity in our country. And so certainly healing is being called for. And we're being called to do our part every step of the way, no matter what is transpiring in the physical world. We are co-creative beings. Lockard goes on to write that creation requires destruction. that evolution is the vehicle of a large-scale creation in our universe. That evolution means that something does not exist and then it does. This radical newness can only occur when what came before is destroyed or radically reconfigured. Life exists because the necessary heavy elements to make it, which did not exist before, which I'm not so sure that that's true, were formed in the explosions and collisions of stars and planets. And so we're on this journey of evolution right now. You and I, the US of A, humanity, the world. And I love this animated gift that's on the screen because it shows what the evolutionary process of the human has become, ending with a mask on our face, exploding. But I invite us to take several steps back and look at this belief, this truth that creation requires destruction, and that evolution is the vehicle of large-scale creation in our universe. So that doesn't mean that we're being given permission to go out and be destructive, because the destruction could simply be the natural form of death. But evolution is always unfolding. And so it's important for us to remember that radical newness is being called for by us. But as awakened beings, for us to invoke this radical newness, we're to do this by choosing to align our thinking and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with our spiritual truth, which is we are beings of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. That we know that to rid ourselves of the darkness, we must choose then to lean in and use the light that we've called in. Locker goes on to write that to become an adult, the child has to die. Clinging to childhood or to adolescence hampers the functioning of the adult and denies one the full expression of potential. We often fight this evolutionary emergence. And we can see today with the proliferation of conspiracy theories and the acceptance by some of only that information which conforms to their version of reality. This is living in fear. And in such people, and then the soul is crying out for wisdom. The soul is crying out for wisdom. What we witnessed this week is the soul crying out for wisdom through those that stormed our Capitol. And I'm not saying that we should take a spiritual bypass on these individuals. I do believe that as citizens of our country, we must hold them accountable. And we can also understand that that is this cry for wisdom. It's a cry, as they were saying, to be heard. Unfortunately, the methodology is not one that is propagating good. And so today I ask each of us to ask ourselves, where in our own mind, in our own life, are we still hanging on to the childlike thinking, clinging to some adolescence in our mind, behaviorally, intellectually, consciously, that is hampering the functioning of our own adulthood and denying our own full expression of potentiality? Where are we holding ourselves back from having a light bulb moment, an enlightenment, if you will, when we realize, as a wave does, that it is the ocean? To realize at a greater level than ever before of the oneness that we have with life itself. How can we do that? Remember, today, we're looking at the way it works. And it works, as Ernest tells us, by responding. It works by corresponding to our state of mind. Yesterday afternoon, I became just a bit overwhelmed with all of this and did what I love to do in my life, which is to run a bubble bath and light candles. And as I was sitting in that bubble bath, letting the energy wash over me of the water and the bubbles and the light and the silence and the peace, I began to find myself grounding myself. And as I grounded myself into this energy field of interconnectivity, what began to rise up within me is a deep rooted spiritual truth and spiritual knowing that all is well in life. My buddy Saul Aponte writes, the act of focusing on what you want as if you already have it, coupled with inspired action, is what I've come to find to be the most effective tool for bringing an idea into experience. So often we think that that idea is that we must change the world. But like for me yesterday, that idea was simply to remember what I know and to remember that I know the way it works. We all have that within us, and I call upon us today to covenant and commit to ourselves to find new methodologies, new ways, in very simplistic forms, to focus on what it is that we want to experience in our lives. And remember that we can only do that in how we choose to express life itself. That we play a role in what is unfolding on our planet. And if right now it's too much to wrap our head around any action other than just believing that peace is possible, let's remember that the law of intention and desire exists. And inherent in every intention and desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. That's all that's required today for you and I is to choose to set the intention for peace on our planet, in our country, on our soil. And to remember that inherent in every intention and desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. Intention and desire in the field of pure potentiality have infinite organizing power. And when we introduce an intention into the fertile ground of pure potentiality, we put that infinite organizing power to work for us. Let's remember the only way, Ernest tells us, that this power, the thing itself, can work for us is by working through us. So I invite you in this very moment, in the privacy of your own mind, of your heart, your soul, your being, to set the intention for peace, for civility, for healing, and for any other thing that you desire to experience in your life. And in our mind's eye, let's see ourselves introduce this intention into the fertile ground of pure potentiality, whatever that may look like for you. And then in your mind's eye, begin to see the wheels of this organizing power infinitely begin to work, knowing that what must come forth into our field of experience is a reflection of the very thing that we desire to experience. And then also go forward to remember to trust the universe. It hasn't failed us yet, because that's not its nature. I'm going to share with you an article that I shared a couple of years ago in talking about the way it works, titled What It Means to Trust the Universe and Why You Should. You know these moments when you tell yourself, I just gotta trust the universe. Whether it's because things in your life feel chaotic or just plain overwhelming, sometimes you just know you need to surrender and learn to trust that things will work out. Trust really is a practice, an art, especially in these moments when it feels like you're working hard and things just aren't happening, if you will. In the wellness world, we put so much emphasis on the importance of letting go, relinquishing the need to control and learning to trust that things will simply be taken care of. A job will appear along with a dream partner and loads of money, or peace on earth. Sound familiar? Well, trusting the universe requires patience. But are you trying to cultivate patience and still finding that you're not realizing any results? If so, just turn to trusting the universe and recognizing the universe is in you. Our strongest, most powerful connection to all the stars, the cosmos, and everything else around us that can guide us is actually within us. So often we get caught up thinking that we need to trust the universe. We somehow think that some external force is going to swoop in our lives and save us from all challenges we are experiencing. In other words, we automatically position ourselves as dependent, weak, and disempowered in relation to some elevated idea of the universe. This mode of trusting the universe is based in fantasy. We act like Rapunzel stuck in a tower with all that long hair waiting for the prince to come and save her. But in reality, Rapunzel could have just tied the ends of her hair to the window and climbed down herself. We have the tools within us to take each step along the way of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Trust the universe, another word for source, the divine, God, the thing itself. And remember, as Mother Teresa tells us, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. You and I have cast that stone today by setting the intention. And let's know together that that is enough. But we can also do more. But you get to decide, and I get to decide what that looks like going forward this week. But let's never forget that deep within us is a power for us to lean on, to use, and to express, because it is indeed within us. That power is one whose nature is of evolution, expressing a greater expression and expansion of what it is that oftentimes, as we learned earlier, requires destruction. And so today I invite you, as Dr. Jim Lockhart told us quite some time ago, to let your inner adult out. And let's move into a state of conscious evolution, which is a new vision of the future. So let's let our inner adult out today and step into the power of this evolution of life, and let it be conscious evolution. As we see on the screen, yes, we've evolved from walking on all fours, but today we can use those same limbs to embrace not only each other metaphorically, but to embrace each other spiritually through the act of namaste. The power of God, of evolution, of life, of light exists within me as it does within you. And today I honor that and trust the universe that what it brings forth is a greater expression of itself, beginning with peace. And we affirm together, yes, there is peace on earth. And yes, it has begun with me. Thank you. And so it is. So I'd like to bring back to our service James to take us on the journey of a second song.
Hello, hello.
Or a third song.
Wonderful message, Keith.
Thank you.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone. and celebrate all our mistakes. If there's a silver lining, we still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. That's right. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. See you're searching for a purpose and guided by a dream. See who you are. You're just like me. Get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do, but I keep on trying. But it gets frightening, frightening, frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature, everyone is God, everyone is love and light in vibration. Look for the good, look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good, look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good, look for the good. Oh, life should be sweeter if everybody would. Yeah, look for the good in everything. Look for the people who set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good, I say. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
Thank you, James. Your music selections today have been so appropriate and on point and quite wonderful. Thank you. And you're just such a delight and such a gift and such a talent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. So now is the time in our service on Sunday mornings that we have the opportunity to support our community financially, to step into our power as beings of abundance and to produce and to support our community financially. We do that through conscious giving. I want you to know in advance that all that you support us with financially is deeply appreciated and honored and acknowledged and put to great use. The methods to do that are as follows on the screen. You can go to our website, CSL-LA.org, and click on donate, as well as find out all information on what's transpiring here at our center. You can go to the app, same thing, find great information there. Go to the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and click on the upper left bars, and the screen will come up and you can see the donate tab there. You can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038, or you can call me. Phone number's there on the screen, and I can handle that for you personally. While we all take a moment and do that, James will take us through our conscious giving song called Love Is My Decision. James?
Sorry, technical difficulties.
It's okay.
decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here, right now.
And so it is. Thank you, James. So in that vein of thank yous, a big thank you to James Harper this morning as our guest musical artist and music director. So James, thank you so much for bringing everything that you are to our center. I just can't tell you how much we appreciate you. As well as a huge thank you to Travis Smith, our audio technician, who works diligently throughout the week to keep us in line, and sometimes that's a lot for us, technologically and audio-wise, and especially with the changing face of Zoom and its settings. So thank you, Travis, for that. A huge thank you and shout out to Robert Hensley, our administrative assistant, as well as our social media expert, as well as manages our Facebook page while we're live on Facebook on Sunday mornings, and a myriad of other things. A huge shout out to Robert and a big thank you to Robert, and welcome back to the land of sunny Southern California, Robert. And a big thank you to all of you who joined in this morning, whether it was live via Zoom and or through Facebook. Just want you to know how much I and the board and our community deeply appreciate you being a part of who we are. And if you're watching this at a later date on our YouTube channel as well, thank you for being a conscious participant in our evolution. A couple of things to remind you of. I sent out this week an announcement for an upcoming class orientation for new members. Hope you all got that. That will take place on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:30 p.m. There was a link for that. I'd also like to invite everyone to that class just to be reminded of the opportunity that exists of being a member of this community and helping support it on every level whatsoever. Know that that's of great importance and deeply appreciated, and it's really how we will be able to continue to thrive and prosper and grow, which is the objective for us. I want to let you know that next Sunday I continue my series called Conversations with Dr. Keith. I'm so excited about my guest next Sunday morning. It's Reverend Lisa Ferraro, who is a fantastic musician, both in the New Thought metaphysical community as well as the jazz community. She's very revered and well respected, as well as has an independent focus ministry out in the world, taking this ideology and spreading it in a multitude of ways in the world. So she's just a delightful being, and I'm looking forward to sharing this time and space with her. And I invite you to not only do that, but to invite your friends along as well. Just a reminder that you can access all of our information through our social media sites. We're both on Facebook and yes, we're on Facebook and on Instagram, and we're not a Twitter person, but we are on those too, and YouTube. Please not only watch us through all three of those formats, but support us and like us and invite your friends to be participants in that as well. I want to remind you that you can find out all our information through our website and our app. I've given that information before, but you can go to our website and get it all. Again, CSL-LA.org. Also, I'd like to let you know that there's a weekly e-newsletter that goes out every Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It's the first part of the week. And if you're receiving that, fantastic. And if you are not and would like to, you can sign up for that on our website. Once again, that information is easy, very easy to be found. We're going to take care of that. And so, yeah, so that's where we are. All right. So this morning we're going to close out with a meditation. And as we close out with a meditation, I know what I was going to say, but I was going to say is, I also want to let you know we have a field of practitioners that are trained in supporting people, individuals, when they're going through anything or just need some support. And so we have a myriad of those. That information goes out not only on our weekly e-newsletter, but also on our website. Please avail yourself of these practitioners. They've been trained to work in the field of mental healing. And so I encourage you to do that and use them in a way to support the evolution of humanity. All right, so ending. So as we close our service out today, we will close in a meditation. After we complete the meditation, we will say goodbye to those that are joining us through social media and those that are part of the Zoom. If you would like to turn your cameras on at that point and your audio, we'll hang out and just reconnect and say hello to everybody. And so let's close with a meditation. So I invite you to just find yourself connecting to wherever you are seated at the moment. And if you're standing, begin to feel your feet seeking into the floor below you. Letting this activity of being drawn into the earth, symbolic of grounding ourselves into nature. Nature being the outer expression of all there is, which is life. Becoming more aware of our breath as we inhale and exhale. We allow ourselves to go deeper. Going to that space, if it were a location in our soul, where we know who we are. And remember that in a new way today. And so I affirm and declare for each of us that we let this space, this place, this feeling of being founded and grounded in spiritual truth is not only the foundation from which we move forward and grow, but we set the intention right now to consciously evolve. Remembering that inherent within the intention already is the mechanics for its fulfillment. And so we open our mind in a new way to trust the universe. And in so doing, know and know that we know that intention returns to us in form. And as we open our mind and our heart and our arms to embrace it, as we receive it, we bless it and appreciate it. And then send it back out as we cast the stone of it becoming magnified and multiplied, creating ripples into that force field of energy of life of all of humanity. And so, yes, there is peace on earth. And it has begun with me. And I know that we each agree to be the me. Letting it be. Moving forward and growing and evolving in life, as life, the thing itself. So we inhale together again and exhale, becoming more and more aware of the presence within us and our presence within the field of life that we're in, whatever room or field or vehicle. We choose to grow and do so by saying together, Amen, and so it is.